Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the AOE3 Noob Cup 2, and welcome to our first quarterfinal series. We've got KDA Evelynn in the blue, playing as the Spanish, up against Greenstone 45 in the teal, or the cyan if you prefer, playing as the British. Now, I think we are in for a really fascinating match, and a really interesting series, not just because of the civs, and not just because of the map. Let's set those aside for a second. Let's just talk about the players. And I think there's a really interesting dynamic, Greenstone versus Evelynn. See, Greenstone has some experience under the belt. Greenstone has been blooded. By which I mean, Greenstone had to take out Fatefiend in a qualifier series in order to be here for this quarterfinal. And I've played some tournaments myself in the past. I gotta tell you, it's a little nerve-wracking, it's a little intense. There is something to be said for having played a tournament series and winning that series that does wonders for the psyche in a way that no amount of warm-up practice games will do for you. And so, I think that Greenstone comes into this match with a certain kind of advantage, having taken on Fatefiend and won in that tournament. On the flip side, Evelynn does not have that qualifier background, but Evelynn had the opportunity to watch Greenstone's games and come up with a counter strategy. And so I think that's going to be a really interesting dynamic over the course of this series is, which is more important? The prep time that Evelynn was able to get from watching Greenstone play, or the experience and the kind of the psychological boost that comes from actually having played in the tournament so far and having won that first series. That should be a lot of fun. Now, adding on to the spice that is this matchup is the different civilizations, right? So we have the British up against the Spanish. And to my analysis and my understanding, these civilizations, they're both from the original release of the game. They're both old school. But they have completely opposite focuses. The British have one of the strongest eco booms in the game. Of course, their main bonus is that whenever you build a manor house, yeah, it costs a little bit more wood than a regular house does, but it spawns a villager with every single house. And so British players can use that bonus in order to slap down houses and get up massive amounts of villager count. Right? You can get an eco going very quickly, very effectively. You also have really good late game options. You have their royal upgrade is the Redcoat Musketeer. So the British Musketeers have they're some of the strongest heavy infantry in the game. You also have the Greencoat Rangers, which are good skirmisher options if you go down that route. You have rocket artillery. You got a lot of really solid late game options as the British, right? The Spanish, on the flip side, they are one of the earliest. Let me back up. They are a rush civilization more often than not. A lot of players play the Spanish as a rush civ. You want to get pressure out early. They earn experience. I forget if it's that they earn experience faster or if the shipments come faster. But either way, Spanish shipments move faster than others do. And they just have a lot of rush strategies. I've focused on my channel before with the Rodolero Rush, which was an old school strategy. I don't know that it's so effective nowadays. But you have not just the Rodolero Rush, you have Crossbowman Rush, Pikeman Rush. Just a mixed early game bit of pressure. And so I think the way this game will play out, it'll be a battle between the early game pressure versus the late game domination. And we've got to see how these two players decide to handle it. Now, we've got two more things we got to talk about. We got to talk about the map and we got to talk about the decks. The map is really interesting. I think this is a lot like, this is Bahia. And this is a lot like the last match that Greenstone played against Fatefiend in their series, where on the extremities of the map, if we move to the north here, the northeast, you will see quite a few goodies. We've got a couple of trade post sites. We have water teeming with fish and whale. A lot of options here in the in the north. But you also have a pretty straight shot directly into the opponent's base. And so, one thing that we could see both players try to go up north and claim these resources up here, taking advantage of the native camps, the Jesuit mission. The other option, of course, is we could see them try to fight each other right away through this gap here in the south. So, that should be really interesting from a map perspective. Speaking of, while I'm looking at the Jesuit mission, let me see real quick. Increasing building HP, that'd be nice. Gunpowder damage improved, that's nice. Villager training time decrease. So these are nice. I don't think any of these techs are overwhelmingly important, but they're pretty good. I would, if you go heavy into gunpowder, pick up smokeless powder for sure. Yeah. All right. Now let's talk about the decks real quick. As we see, let me look at the map real fast here. Both players at 18 Vils. Both players have hit the second age by the 6-minute mark, so they feel pretty even so far. Looking at the British first. Now, you've already sent in Age 1, the 3 Settlers card. And this game, by the way, was played just before the most recent patch came out, which removed this 3 Settlers card from the game. So, nowadays, you know, the British economy is slightly weaker because you can't send this card, but they still have an infinite ship 2 villagers card. So, that should be... I don't think their eco should be impacted that badly. It's -1 settler. Not that big a deal. It's a deal, but it's not that big a deal. I've heard some people claim it's like the British are dead now because they missed 1 Vil. I don't think that's going to happen. The other option is the Greenwich Time card. This is a really cool one. It ships a trading post wagon right away, and for every trading post that Greenstone owns, politician and tech research time is reduced by 20%. Now that's multiplicative instead of additive, so you're never going to get like instant research, but you start chaining trade posts, and that means that your research and tech up times are going to be really fast. So that's a really cool Age 1 card. Here in Age 2, we got the 5 Vils card, 5 Settler card. Pretty classic. You almost always want to have these Settler cards in your deck. And then I see 1 and 2 unit cards. 6 Longbowmen, 6 Musketeer. Everything else is resources or buffs to units. So, Greenstone has to hope that Evelynn doesn't attack, or if Evelynn does attack, that, you know, these cards can withstand that. Right? Meanwhile, Evelynn, and sure enough, look at this. Barracks are already up. We've got 4 Musketeer and 4 Crossbowmen on the way. Settler cards, and here, Age 2, not sending the Settler cards, instead picking up Team Hand Infantry Tech. And look at how much, look at all the melee damage we got. What is that? Is that a Vil down? Yeah, that's 1 Settler down right there. Second Settler down. Third Settler down. Greenstone needs to respond to this. We'll come back to the deck in a second. Oh, 4 Vils down. That by itself equalized the economy. Greenstone had an advantage. These manor houses was giving him an edge. He had, I guess, 27 Vils to Spain's 23. Now, Spain has taken the lead. 24 Vils to Great Britain's 23. So, that was really big, I think. Now, what Greenstone needs to recognize, he saw all that infantry. All right, what do you do in response? I would be thinking Longbowmen. You know, if Greenstone is going to go heavy into infantry, then you want light infantry of your own, because light infantry, they counter heavy infantry, so the Musketeers will go down. And then they, you know, I think the Longbowmen will probably beat the Crossbowmen in a fight, I'm guessing. Uh-oh. Here's an Explorer going down. Oof. So I would be thinking Longbowmen here. Now, you have to be careful. It's good to mix in some Musketeers in case Evelynn adds in some Lancers or some kind of cavalry. But I would be prioritizing an anti-infantry choice. Instead, it appears that Greenstone is focusing in on Musketeers. I get the feeling that was the original game plan because you have the Musketeer damage buff card, the Musketeer HP buff card, right? So, going heavy into Musketeers, and Greenstone's hope is that through pure strength of numbers, he wins this fight. Here we go. All right, these pikemen, they've got a lot of siege damage, but they're really not going to be that useful. Right now, they're just soaking up damage. That's their use. Pikemen going down. The musketeer from the Spanish are also likely not long for this world. Yeah, these crossbowmen, they're light infantry. They're doing bonus damage against the musketeer. And we see from our bird's eye view, the spectator point of view, Evelynn putting out more crossbowmen. So if Greenstone stays on musketeer against crossbows, he's in trouble. And I think musketeer are likely. Yeah, this is a danger. We've got to watch out for this. Now let's go back to Evelynn's deck. All right, so at this point now we've got settlers shipped. Turn 2 tactics: all pikemen transform into rodoleros. I've already sent that card. Wow. Hand infantry attack. So that gives pikemen, rodolero, extra attack. Archaic infantry HP. So crossbows, rodolero, pikemen have more HP. Look at this. Medicine has been sent. Villagers train faster and become cheaper. That, I think, is a really critical card because I think that Evelynn is using this in order to keep pace with the British eco. You've only got the town center as the Spanish. You don't have these manor houses that get to spawn vills. So being able to afford more vills, because they're cheaper, and being able to pump them out faster will help you keep pace. And indeed, right now, Spain has 35 vills to 27 for the British. Oh, look at this. Ouch. A battle engaged. The rodoleros are on the musketeer. One thing you gotta be aware of when you watch AoE3, there's a feature in the game called snaring. If any melee unit gets in range and gets an attack off on an enemy, that enemy and surrounding units for that enemy slow down. Their movement speed drops. And so, if the rodolero are allowed to get on top of the musketeer like they just did, it'll be very difficult for the musketeer to escape because the musketeer, they have that reduced movement speed, so the crossbows are able to just keep the fire going, the rodoleros slow them down, and that combination is really strong. Militiamen out, longbowmen out. Longbowman is the right choice here. That's an anti-infantry option. Now, it's only 5 longbowmen versus the... Actually, how many do we have here? We got 9 crossbowmen, and it was a couple of rodolero. The longbowmen are down, but TC is up. And you don't have enough crossbows in order to push that town center, so he backs up. I think it's hard to tell who won that fight. Both players lost a lot of units. Look at this here. We have musketeers and longbowmen back on the field. If nothing else, it should be a sign to Greenstone that Evelynn is going to continue pushing hard into infantry. Again, 29 vills for the British, 35 vills for the Spanish. One of the things that you got to keep in mind, whenever you see a town center getting sieged, even if the town center does not go down, and yeah, I know it's impressive when we watch buildings explode and things fall, and we're primed to think of that as the big deal. But recognize in the background that every time that Greenstone puts in 15 vills or whatever into the town center, those are 15 vills that are not doing anything for the British economy, right? Those 15 vills are, for as long as they're in the town center, they're basically dead as far as producing eco goes. Now, yeah, they are shooting at the enemy. That's important. I'm not saying you shouldn't garrison your town center, but just sort of recognize that is a bonus that works for the Spanish while they're sieging, even if they're not able to take the TC down. The entirety of the Spanish eco is still working, while, however much of the British eco is not. So, speaking of which, we have the Spanish going up to the 3rd age with the Scout Politician. Greenstone, sending the Musketeer damage card. So, Greenstone, I think, is going all in on the Musketeer. And one thing that I do think is a little bit of a mistake is sending this Musketeer damage card while you still have the 6 Musketeer cards up. Because what you want to do, you want to focus on getting a big ball of units first and then buffing those units, right? So imagine, let's perform a math exercise for a second here. Let's say you've got one Musketeer, and that one Musketeer does 10 damage, right? You could ship a card that buffs that Musketeer's damage by 20%. So it goes from 10 to 12, yay. Or you could send another Musketeer, which basically goes from 10 damage to 20 damage, right? That's the situation here. We got 4 Musketeer on the field. 6 more would have been great. Oh, no. Oh, no. Greenstone has accidentally clicked his army into Evelynn's army. Instead of firing, he's gone into melee range. This longbowman is being ignored. There we go. The Hussar will take care of that. Or will it? No, wow. That longbowman. Yeah, that's a hero longbowman. That's William Tell right there. Just putting oh, there it is. That's a hero longbowman. Here we go. 5 more Musketeer out. That's great, but again, that's 5 Musketeer versus a whole host of muskets and crossbows and Hussar. This hurts. This really hurts if you are Greenstone right now.
Yes.
Yeah, I think just from a numbers point of view, the Musketeer are the right choice against Hussar, and obviously they trade evenly with Spanish Musketeer. But, oh, look at this! 3rd age out, we have longbows and Musketeer on the field. That's 6 and 6 versus 2, 5, 6. So what is that? That's 6, 12, 13, 14. It's pretty even. Maybe a numbers advantage for the Spanish. Yeah, wow, 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 wow. Boy, oh boy. What do we have? All right, the Spanish win that fight. More crossbowmen coming in. 12 crossbowmen, 3 Musketeers, 3 Rodolero, 1 Hussar. And again, I'll say it one more time. 17 vills garrisoned to the town center means of the British 32 vill eco, functionally, only, yeah, there's 33, only 16 are actually working. So that's 16 working vills for the British, 37 working vills for the Spanish. That's a 20 vill difference. Even if this town center doesn't go down, Greenstone has an uphill battle. Not to say Greenstone's out of the fight, but this is a hard spot to be in. Fortunately, the outpost is here putting in some work alongside the town center. Alright. And we have 9 Musketeers getting shipped. Why 9 Musketeer instead of 10 Longbowmen? Right? You want that anti-infantry option. The crossbowmen do bonus damage against Musketeer. I think that's a mistake. Here we go, more Musketeer out on the field. It's from a pure numbers point of view. Can the Musketeer knock back the crossbowmen? Most of the crossbowmen are continuing to fire on the town center. Evelynn is committing to take this town center down. I don't... 480 HP. I don't know. I don't know. The crossbowmen are pulling back. This town center will stay up. With 370 HP left out of 6,500, the Musketeers are going to do it. And that has to sting if you're Evelynn, because you made the choice not to fire on the Musketeers with the crossbows. You kept them on the town center, hoping to bring that TC down. But instead the TC stays, and a lot more Musketeer are alive than otherwise would be. That's the good news. The bad news is, Greenstone's eco still behind, And we have, what is this, 2 barracks and now an artillery foundry up as well. Speaking of artillery, that would be a great choice for Greenstone. I think that you have in the deck. Let's go over here. You got the Falconet card. The Falconet card is one of the most powerful Age 3 cards in the game. Being able to get out light artillery that can absolutely wreck balls of infantry would be a great choice here. And here instead we see Spain moving forward with pikemen, crossbowmen, and falconets setting up to do some real damage. Ouch. The muskets are committing. I think you've got to back up and try to get some answers of your own. I would love to see Hussar from the British. The Hussar would do a great job against the crossbowmen and the falconets. If you kept the musketeers alive, they could handle the pikemen. You'd have to do a little bit of a song and dance, but yeah, right here. Crossbows and falconets. Get Hussar out. You've got a card for it. You can ship Hussar, get out falconets of your own, or even get out the longbowmen. You know, just to... I think at this point it may not be as good of a choice, but getting the longbowmen out to counter the enemy infantry would not be a bad idea. Spain, meanwhile, we're in the Third Age, and I'm really surprised to see the advanced frontier defenses coming out. You know, Spain has been doing a good job putting on pressure, but here we see kind of a consolidation of the front line. I gotta say, I don't like where these outposts are. I think if you inch them just a little closer, you could cover that silver mine, which, if the game goes long, would be useful. But I understand the idea. You're closing off this choke point and making sure that you own this. No, by the way, just grab a second. Look at that little treasure hiding in the distance. That's 35 coin. Anybody can pick up whenever. Yeah. I guess it's not that big a deal at this point in the game, 35 coin, but hey, free money's free money. All right, what do we have? We have Greenstone picking up the veteran musketeers, going heavier into the musketeer line, which will be amazing if Evelynn decides to go all-in cavalry, right? But if Evelynn stays on falconets and crossbows, I think that's a mistake. Now let me highlight. You know, I've been talking a lot about how Spain right now has the better eco, although England is catching up, 43 to 45. Spain has had the better working eco, but the British have had 2 trading posts going, and that's doing double duty. Both trade posts, of course, are accruing more experience points, 52 XP. I guess that's 52 XP per trip. I don't know if that's like a per minute thing, or I don't know how the numbers break down there, but there's 52 XP with every trip from both TPs. And also, because of Greenwich Mountain Time, the British are researching techs faster. The British going into Dragoons. I think that's a mistake. Yes, the Dragoons will do well against the artillery. Dragoons do bonus damage against artillery, and they do bonus damage against cavalry, but that's what your musketeers are for. Dragoons actually take bonus damage from crossbows and other light infantry, so the Dragoons here, I think, will take the same bonus damage the musketeers will, and that's going to hurt. Not to mention, we now have pikemen on the field. This is going to be hard. This is going to be hard. At this point, what Greenstone really needs badly are cannons of his own. Alright. Wow, yeah, look at that. That's the British army down. And I don't see... What do you build at this point? You're queuing up more musketeer. I think the Spanish have recognized there's a kind of critical moment here. Artillery on the field, a big old ball of infantry are here, knocking out that town center. Yeah, I think the British are in for a rough time here. Veteran muskets doing what they can. You know, the vet musks are better than the regular musks of the Spanish, but against the artillery, the crossbows, no. Evelynn takes game 1 with the Spanish. How much of that was, again, analyzing Greenstone's playstyle? How much of it was just playing to the Spanish's strengths? How much of it was just army comp? You know, I think Evelynn did a very good job mixing in different kinds of units that covered each other's strengths and weaknesses. That was really good. Well done to Evelynn on game 1. Let's see if Greenstone can bring it back in game 2. And here we are, match number 2 in our first quarterfinal series. KDA Evelynn in the orange playing as Malta against Greenstone in the teal playing as the Ottomans. Now, I've already mentioned both of these civilizations before. These are popular civs in the Noob Cup so far, which is not a surprise to me. The Ottomans have their town center producing villagers automatically for free. Yeah, they do come out a little bit slower than they otherwise would, but being able to have that eco developing without paying anything is a really nice bonus. That means that the Ottomans are very good at early rushes. So I would expect to see some rush play from the Ottomans here. Meanwhile, the Maltese are a very strong defensive civilization. Their units get 2% more HP with every single card that gets shipped. And they also have some pretty powerful musketeers in the Sentinel. You also have the Hospitaller, which is a really great melee unit. Particularly good if they're fighting near Maltese buildings. So, a really solid bonus for the Maltese there. A good defensive option. What I'm wondering, we just saw Greenstone lose match 1 to a rush. And I'm wondering if Greenstone is thinking, hey, you know what I need to do? You know, if you can't beat him, join him. Maybe I should try a rush of my own. And, you know, instead of playing the long game, maybe I can try to win that way. So we almost see a switch of the last game where now I think it's Evelynn who's going to have maybe the stronger late game, or is gearing up for a more of a defensive, long play style. Whereas Greenstone wants to try to end this match early. Let's look at the decks and see if I'm right. Looking at the Ottomans first. Alright, the Yoruk card is sent, Capitalism is sent, that's nice. Okay, here we go, the Janissaries card. Yeah, this is a pretty classic Ottoman strat here. I would expect, I'm going to make a prediction. I've not watched this game. I'm going to make a prediction. I'm guessing we're going to see a forward barracks and an awful lot of Janissaries trying to put pressure on the Maltese. Meanwhile, for Malta, OMG finally, that's the name of the deck. We've got the Settlers card sent, the Furrier card also sent, so these villas will be collecting food faster. Let me see if I can get a point of comparison. It's 15% faster from animals. So, come on, I know some of you are working on deer. Here we go. 1.5 food per second for the Maltese villager because Furrier has been sent, whereas for the Ottomans, it is 0.84 food per second. I also see that the market is up for Evelynn, and I would bet that Evelynn has picked up the hunting dogs tech from the market that is also making the vills work faster. I might be wrong about that. 15% of 84 would be, let's see, like 12-ish, right? So 96, 97. Yeah, I think to get to 1.05, you'd need the hunting dogs, if I'm not mistaken. I think that tech has come in. So, point is, Evelynn investing very heavily into food production, and Evelynn on the way up to the second age. Greenstone, almost at the second age, the capitalism card coming in. I am surprised that Greenstone did not wait for the second age to come in and then just send the Janissaries card. If Greenstone is going to rush, 5 more Janissaries on the field will help a lot more than a small trickle of gold. On the flip side, it is true that the sooner you get the capitalism card in, the more you're getting out of it. So, you know, if the game goes on for a while, that may not be a bad idea. All right, what do we see here? We see... Look at this map, by the way. This is kind of a straightforward land map. Not a lot of bells and whistles. We've got 3 trade posts cutting right down the middle of the map. The Bhakti Temple. What do we have? We have the Tiger Claw. Any warrior armed with sharp claws, good against infantry. Really? Is that like a shock infantry unit, I wonder? The War Elephant. Indian heavy War Elephant, powerful in close combat. Inflicts area damage, good against archers and skirmishers. Whoa, that could be useful. Alright, Tiger Claw bonus. Increases berry gather rates. Nice, interesting. Yoga. Forcing your troops to take yoga classes increase the attack of infantry and cav. All units, basically, all infantry and cav do 5% more damage. Okay. Pretty nice all-around techs. Increasing hero HP. Let's see. Increases the gather rates of mills, estates, livestock pens. Okay. So, you know, interesting. That would be useful in the late game. Definitely worth picking up if the game goes long. Army of the Pure. Sikh training, increasing chakram range line of sight. Okay, that's the unique unit here. So, nothing that I think is game-changing, but I want to keep an eye on those, and if you have the resources to spare, pick some of those up. Those would be worthwhile. A barracks coming in for the Ottomans. Not what I was expecting, though. This is pretty close to Greenstone's base. Both players have 16 vills right now. So why does Greenstone have 1,000 more points, I wonder? Is that... Well, they both have explored the same amount. It's probably the additional resources. Because remember, you know, Evelynn has had to spend food for every additional vill. The Ottoman player doesn't. What do we have here? A masterless samurai is the guardian. A family of monkeys. So wait a minute, are you gonna pick up? Are you getting like monkeys as a backup here?
Commandment.
Come on, Ben. Sure enough. All right, 4 monkeys. That might be useful in the defense if Greenstone goes for a push. You know, I gotta say though, Greenstone may not actually be going for an H2 push, which is what I was expecting, but I do not see... I don't see the Janissaries card being sent. Let's see what he sends here. I see that he's already... Look at this. You guys are so weird. Look at this. Look at how Evelynn has gone all the way up north to build the trading post in the north. Meanwhile, Greenstone has gone all the way to the south to build the trading post down south. What? That's very dangerous play from both of them. I would figure you'd want to build on the trade post closer to your base because that way you can defend it more easily if it comes under attack. But, what do I know? And look at this. The wood shipment is coming in. So, it's possible that Greenstone is thinking, you know, Evelynn probably expects the Janissary play. Let me instead send these wood shipments and do something else. And just as I say that, more Janissaries coming in. So, I say more. The first Janissaries are coming in, so maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Janissaries are the play here. Meanwhile, with Evelynn, let's see. A barracks is up, the hospital. The Maltese version of the barracks. That has just come online. Looking at the deck again. And issue, the medicine card has been shipped. Evelynn likes this medicine card. Cheaper vills, it's a nice bonus. Cheaper, faster vills. Interesting. Outposts get more HP. That could be useful if we see a lot of outposts from the Maltese. That'll be a useful card. Flamethrowers. Firethrowers get a flamethrower. Advanced. Okay, so here's what I'm concerned about. No unit shipments at all in H2. And does that mean that you're weak if you get pushed in the second age? Because if the barracks goes down and you don't have any unit shipments, you are up a creek without a paddle. Greenstone on the way to the third age. Evelynn almost has the resources. What Evelynn could do is sell food at the market for gold and tech up that way. Because you got a lot of extra food there. Or, of course, No, okay, at this point, well, yeah, that's Malta. Yeah, you have the resources. Now you can tech up whenever you like. There it is. Teching up with the bishop. If I'm not mistaken, does the bishop send a church wagon? Or is it a covered wagon? Are you sending out an extra town center? I think the bishop sends an extra town center, a covered wagon, if I am not mistaken. Now, what I want to see, if I were Greenstone, I'd want to do one of two things. Either I would take my Janissaries and I would explore the center of the map, try to find this trade post and knock it out. Or, if I'm hoping to surprise my opponent, sit back, keep building up my military, and then one big, giant, surprise blast of army against my opponent. I do one or the other. And here we go. The Explorer and 7 Janissaries on their way to knock out this trade post. If you play as the Ottomans, you need to get your mosque up as quickly as possible so that you can research 2 technologies. One tech increases the settler limit, because if you don't build your mosque, you'll get stuck at 25 vills. If I remember, it's 25 vills. There's another tech, too, that also increases the training rate of units at the town center. Okay, so this is a play that I think is worthwhile. This will knock out this trade post, meaning that only Greenstone will have TPs up, so the XP will flow for the Ottomans and the Ottomans alone. Evelynn going for... Wow. This is the first time I've seen this strategy in the Noob Cup. This is a defensive, turtle up, eco boom. I'm assuming Greenstone wants to get to the 4th age and get out some super units before Greenstone can do any damage. I have lost against this strategy before, and I've won against it. Let's see how Greenstone does. Now that I sort of see the game plan, let's look at the deck again. 3rd age. Vittoriosa. Arrives fast, makes settlers and town centers significantly cheaper. Okay. That makes sense. That plus medicine means that your villagers... What do we have? That's 15. So from 100 to 85 food. And then is that 50% off of 85 or 50% off of 100? Either way, you're talking less than 50 food. That's incredible. Very cheap vills. I am shocked that we do not see the, and I'm forgetting the name of it, but the Maltese card that increases your villagers' gather rate around town centers. I'm really surprised we don't see that, because we do have the 2 silver mines here, the trees, the berries. Those could be useful. Maybe because the game plan is to get up mills and estates very quickly, and that card does not work on those buildings. Maybe that's the game plan. And right away, we see the upgrade coming in. 4 mills, seed drill. Huh. Greenstone, meanwhile, collecting all 3 trade posts. Excuse me. All 3 trade posts. Excuse me. If I were Evelynn, I would try to get to the Udasi Temple. And if I'm going to go heavy into farms and estates, try to pick up the Punjabi New Year. That would be really useful. You may not be able to hold it long enough to take advantage of that tech, but that would be worthwhile. Wall guns. Walls improve the attack and range of nearby sentinels. So I think we see our secret sauce here. Unique Maltese infantry and attack and HP increased. So we're going to go heavy into sentinels. We want sentinels up, and we want them near the walls, because they will be boosted very effectively. Here we go. The sentinels are the Maltese version of the musketeer. But then again, Janissaries are also a very strong musketeer unit. 13 settlers on their way. Eco right now is about even. If Greenstone sees these vills, Malta drops from 39 to 26 vills. Now, I think Evelynn wisely is moving the vills along the edge of the map, trying to find these out-of-the-way coin mines, silver mines here, hoping not to get caught. This is a risk. They probably won't be found, but if they are found, that's devastating for Malta. Here are other vills outside of the walls. Malta only has one factory. The Ottomans have 2. Meanwhile, let's look at Malta again. I'm sorry, Malta. Let's look at the Ottomans again. So we're in the 3rd age here. They've picked up the Enderun school, increasing the attack and HP of Ottoman unique infantry. Right. And I would expect, because we have 3 TPs up for the Ottomans, we're going to see a lot of cards get thrown down. We're going to see Falconets, Janissaries, the Spahi. Now that's interesting. Is the Spahi... Wait a minute. The Delhi. The Delhi is the version of the Hussar. It's the Ottoman version of the Hussar. It's not as strong as a regular Hussar, but it moves faster and attacks faster. So, it's a pretty good unit. Very good for raiding. The Spahi, meanwhile... I am forgetting whether that is... We got Cav Archers coming in. Okay, so... Cav Archer, that's going to be the Ottoman version of a Dragoon, essentially. Right? So, light cavalry. Ranged cavalry. Coupled with the Musketeer, that's a really good combination. They cover each other's weaknesses well. Wow, look at this. 24 more Janissaries in the back. I'm really surprised that he's not pushing with this. Greenstone is content to sit back and just explore. Okay, with the wall bonus, which, wait a minute, has not been sent yet. No, yes it has, wall guns. With that bonus, I think the Sentinels are much stronger than the Janissaries. They are on the defense. They already get a bonus just for being next to defensive buildings. The bonus card, making them extra effective when near to walls. It's a really nice bonus. This is solid play from Malta. I am a little surprised that Malta right now only has a 4-vill advantage, considering that Malta has up 2 town centers. Yeah, 2 TCs. Well, never mind. The Ottoman player also has 2 TCs. I thought the Ottoman only had 1. I think maybe that second town center came up recently. Either way, we need to see more houses. I don't think the build limit has been reached for the vills. 51 is not a vill limit. So yeah, we just need more houses in order to get more vills out. Evelynn. If this game goes into the 4th age, I expect to see a lot of artillery. Look at this. And here. Topkular, if I'm pronouncing that right. Increasing the attack and HP of Ottoman artillery. I like how it also specifies how it regulates the dress code. So, I want to see the artillery gunners' uniforms change. Well, I guess it's already been sent, but... Let's see here. Let's find out. Yeah, sure enough. They got an Ottoman look to them. I wonder if the clothes change. Okay, either way. 26 Janissaries. We've got 4 Cav Archers, a Falconet. I want to see some more cannons, and I want to see... Yeah, here we go. Abyss Gunners. I want to see a range of... I want to see a more complete composition. Right now, we're going all in on Janissaries, which means if the Maltese were to go let's say falconets or crossbowmen. You know, they counter almost your entire army. You got to worry about the falconets, but otherwise, yeah, I'm worried that there's not enough diversity in the composition to cover for various weaknesses. Meanwhile, with Evelynn, going back down here, probably a similar situation, going all in on Sentinels, which makes sense. You got so many bonuses for the Sentinels. You're playing a defensive game. That works for you right now. But if Greenstone were to go heavy into falconets, for example, then that would be a little concerning for the Sentinel player. Look at how Malta is just expanding this spider web of fortifications. And notice how the points are creeping up. Greenstone is still winning on the points battle, but only by 2,000 right now. And he was up 4,000 or 5,000. You have got to be careful, because I think Malta is starting to crawl back, taking advantage of the very cheap vills. If you're getting out so much military, you got to use them. 10 Abyss gunners on the field here, and 5 more on the way, along with another falconet. You have 2 shipments. And if you're wanting falconets, ship your falconets. Ship your Abyss gunners. If the fight were to break out right now, I think that Greenstone probably wins it with the artillery. Because, you know, Evelynn does not have anything in the way of cavalry. Commanderies would be really useful here. Particularly, I would love to see a commandery out here and then one in here, because the unique ability of the commandery is you can garrison units in one of them and then pop them out in the other. You can transport units across the map with your commanderies. For my Command and Conquer fans, it's like a GLA tunnel network. So, being able to transport units is a really great option. And knowing that you have these vulnerable units out here that will die. If they're seen, they will die. So instead, giving them an out would be useful. And having the commandery up is useful because that's where you train your Hussar. And I think Hussar would be a dangerous option because Janissaries are heavy infantry. They'll counter Hussar well. But you get the Hussar out, and then instead of engaging the enemy, you can flank around and do all kinds of damage to the Turk economy. Right? Here we go. Battle is about to be initiated. Let's count our numbers up one more time. 5 falconets, 34 Janissaries, 15 Abyss gunners, 4 cav archers. Versus 53 sentinels. That's it. Looks like that's all. 6 crossbow. 53 and 6. The question is going to be, how does Evelynn respond to falconets? If Evelynn just walks in, and look at this. Oh, they're going to be fighting outside of the walls. They must still be getting a wall bonus. They're near walls, but... Oh. How do you engage? Do you just sit here and take the falconet damage? Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Oh, no. Oh, the Maltese army is falling apart here. You needed to pull back and come up with some response for falconets. Oh, this stings if you are Malta. And just like that, the point delta is rising massively for Greenstone here. 10,000 point lead. Right now, the Ottomans are functionally the only ones with an infantry, with an army here. Take advantage of your lead. Push in. Do some damage. These are not just walls, these are fortified walls. So it's going to take a little bit to break in, but without any kind of army defending, it's not that hard to break through. This one outpost won't do that much. We got more sentinels, which again, you know, sentinels, they're heavy infantry. They don't counter heavy infantry. It's kind of a numbers fight if it's Janissaries versus sentinels. And at this point, you're definitely falling behind. If you're Malta, I think your only hope, you've got to get out cannons of your own. Maybe send the fort, that might slow them down. But you got to get artillery and be able to whittle away at the wave of infantry that you see here. The other thing that you have to do, if you're going to fight, especially if you're going to fight with sentinels, you need to spend time building up your numbers again. Wow, look. Malta's out of gold and has therefore fallen back on crossbowmen. Age 2 units. They don't even have upgrades. And this is why I'm saying what could have happened. You get some Hussar out, you raid in the Ottoman base, maybe you force the army to pull back and deal with Hussar. Or you take that Hussar and you swoop in, you knock out these falconets while the Janissaries are pushed forward, and you can kind of do a little song and dance that keeps him from pushing in and destroying your eco. At this point, the Ottomans have taken a Vil lead, 16 Vil advantage. Now at this point, it's a 20 Vil advantage. Now, the Janissaries, they are the majority of the units. They're soaking up a lot of damage. Don't ignore the Abus Gunners in the background. The Abus Gunners are the Ottoman light infantry. They do siege damage, but they're very good at knocking out heavy infantry. So Abus Gunners will do well here. Now, crossbowmen are light infantry. They do counter the Janissaries, but they are lacking upgrades. And the Abus Gunners will put in good work against the crossbows, too. And there it is. Evelynn recognizes there's no point in continuing this game. We are on a 1-1 match. Are you ready for the tiebreaker? Let's go ahead and dive into Game 3 of our first quarterfinal series. And ladies and gentlemen, here we are with our tiebreaker final match in this best-of-3 series between Greenstone 45 and KDA Evelynn. This one is for all the marbles. This time, we see Evelynn in the orange playing as the British, and Greenstone in the teal playing as the French. Now, we are on, which map is this? This is Sud. Okay, interesting. So we've got, kind of like the last map, we have 3 trade posts cutting down the middle of the map. We have 2 tribal outposts, Sudanese. Let's see. Mills, estates, farms, rice paddies, haciendas, and fields cost less wood and are built faster. That would be really useful if you're transitioning from an early game economy to a late game economy. We have the quilted armor. All cav and shock infantry get additional armor against melee attacks. Whoa. And the Red Sea trade ships 2 Red Sea wagons. This improvement may be researched 2 times. I don't even know what a Red Sea wagon is. I'll have to keep our eyes out on that. But I think there's some interesting text you can pick up, especially the quilted armor, because the matchup we have is a classic one going all the way back to the release of Age of Empires 3, the British versus the French. We've already talked about the British. I'm not going to waste your time going over the British again, but the French are a really good all-around civ. Their villager, their settler, is the Coureur de Bois, which is just a better settler. It costs a little bit more, but it gathers resources faster, has more HP, it hits harder. It is just all around better. And the French, they have a variety of tactics available to them. They have flexibility, but one of their options is the French have some of the best cavalry in the game. You can go very heavily into cavalry options, and if you do, then maybe picking up a Sudanese camp and grabbing quilted armor would be very useful. Now, let's take a look at... I'm actually really curious to see how Evelynn's British deck is different from Greenstone's. So right away, and we actually see this is the very first card that is shipped, is Virginia Company. This is the card I was talking about earlier. Virginia Company makes manor houses cheaper. So one of the things that we see a lot from British players is they'll throw down manor house, 45 less wood to build a manor house, and then you just put a lot of villas on wood and absolutely spam out manor houses. And that can get you a really strong early economy. That, plus, of course, the 3 Settlers card will be great. We also see quite a few eco cards. Sawmills, exotic hardwoods. So, extra wood gather rate, extra wood gather rate, extra gold gather rate. Wood and gold, wood and gold. Does that mean that he's going to go into longbows? Rangers, maybe? Siege archery. Yeoman. Alright, I'm going to predict we see a lot of infantry play and a lot more longbowmen from Evelynn than we saw from Greenstone, which would tell me, as the French player, you're going to want to go into cavalry. What deck do you have in the French deck? Let's see. Alright, we got 3 Courier card, which has already been shipped. Team House of Bonaparte. Skirmishers can be trained in the Commerce Age. This could be essential. If Evelynn goes heavy to infantry and then tries to make a play in the Second Age, this could be make or break right here. Bonaparte could make all the difference. And then economic theory, which just makes your villagers gather faster all around, which is, I'm not going to say it's overkill, it's a good thing, but man, your Coureur de Bois already work faster. And it is on its way. Yeah, so here, that's 1.04 food per second. That might be because of, again, hunting dogs, I think, has been sent. But that's 1.04 versus 0.92. Yeah. Economic theory is going to be really nice here. Now, looking down the rest of the deck, what do we see? Hussar, crossbowman, wood and gold. I would love to see food and gold. I won't say I want. Like, maybe playing an H2 is the better choice here. You've got the hand cav attack upgrade, which will be very useful. If Evelynn goes heavy into longbows, Hussar need to be able to you need to mass up Hussar, and they need to be able to melt through their opposition very quickly. That could be a really great combo. Courier, Skirmisher, and Native Warrior hit points increased. Skirmisher available in the Second Age. Skirmisher HP increased. Interesting. I wonder if we'll see a lot of skirms. That's an option too. Greenstone on the way to the Second Age. Evelynn already in the Second Age. And let's look at the vill counts. 18 and 16. So Evelynn has an eco lead. Not by a lot. Only 2 vills. But 2 vills, so still 2 vills. Now notice in H2, no vill cards. Whereas, if I'm not mistaken, for Greenstone, yeah, we've got a 4 vill card. So Greenstone may be able to make up the difference very quickly in eco numbers. Notice how almost everybody's on food. Well, okay, actually, almost everybody's on food. 2 on wood, 1 on gold. Hunting dogs coming in for the French. So I was wrong. I was wrong. This is not... hunting dogs was not there. That's just the Coureur de Bois being good. So over 1 food per second. And now it's 1.25 food per second thanks to hunting dogs. That may not look like a lot to you. It's, you know, 0.13 extra food per second or whatever. But it really does add up over time. It does make a huge difference when you have 13 vills each working on food. Coin coming in. Let's go back to Evelynn's point of view. The Musketeer attack upgrade coming in. Are you going to go heavy into Musketeer, I wonder? Well, you're probably not going to go heavy into anything without any vills on gold. That's curious to me. I think we're seeing a lot on wood from Greenstone. I'm sorry, from Evelynn. in order to be able to put down more manor houses and get that eco boom going, which is smart. Don't get me wrong. That is smart. And we do see 5 longbows on the way. What I'm curious to see is, will either player try rushing the other, or are we going to see another Age 3, possibly even Age 4 game? I don't know. Barracks is down for Evelynn. Barracks is down for Greenstone, but no infantry coming out from that barracks yet. 2,700 food for the French player. Only 200 wood and 300 gold. To me, I would think about spreading... I want to know what the game plan is. Do you want to rush up to the 3rd age, or do you want to get out infantry? Either way, you probably need more on gold. 400 gold per minute. That's pretty good. But yeah, let's even that out some. You've got a market. You could sell some of this food, pick up some gold, and then do whatever you're going to do. Do you want infantry out here in Age 2? Do you want to get up to Age 3 quickly? What's your game plan?
Oui.
We've got a Ville just taking a break. That happens to the best of us. More Villes coming out for Evelynn. A 4 Ville lead right now for Evelynn. But that's after the French player has sent the courier card. So I'd say Evelynn is starting to take off with an eco lead. No more infantry coming out, though. There is a moment of profound weakness here. Age 2 for the English. English go burr. Age 2 for the English, there are no unit cards in this deck. And we have 5 longbows. That's it. So imagine, if you will. Here we see Greenstone with 10 musketeers out already. And let's go ahead and say that Greenstone gets up 15 musketeers, pushes in, catches the English by surprise with, you know, their 5 longbows. And, oh, here we go. Here's some pikemen. Although pikemen aren't going to do a lot against musketeer. Longbows is the better choice, but I think that 15 versus 5 longbows, probably just from numbers, the musketeer win that. If Greenstone comes in and just wipes the floor with this army force, and then starts sieging down this barracks, well, you can't get any more than 5 units out at a time from the barracks. You could play your militia, but then other than that, that's it. Evelynn going on offense, but I think this is a very dangerous situation for Evelynn. We need more longbowmen. This is a good call. Get more longbowmen out. All right, battle is engaged. Here we go. Pikemen are down, and now here we go. This is, you know, 5 longbows versus, what do we have here now? 13 musketeer. Yeah, you can't ignore pure numbers. Yes, longbowmen beat musketeer, but just from a numbers point of view, the musketeer win that. Now, if Greenstone pushes through, he could probably overwhelm this force. More pikemen. This is a mistake. Pikemen really aren't going to do a lot against musketeer here. This could be devastating for the English. Don't focus the explorer. Knock out the longbowman. Yeah, take out the... Yeah, go ahead. Just push. Push. What do we have here? We have... I missed this. The French player is in the 3rd age. He is in Age 3. Now, what are you doing with your 3rd age? What kind of cards are you sending? I'm surprised you're sending the 700 wood card from Age 2. Not the 1,000 wood, and not units. You could try to... Now, again, I know we're speaking from kind of a bird's-eye spectator point of view. But, if you're able to just knock out the English army before they can get up to the 3rd age... And, you know, even as I say that, there aren't unit cards in the 3rd age either. So, you get into Age 3. You knock out this barracks. There are no other military production buildings on the map. And that is probably a win for Greenstone if that happens.
Ready.
We've got a mix here of, well, I say it was a mix. Crossbowmen are on the field right now. Yeah, this is kind of hard if you're Valkyrie. What do you send? You could send the extra musketeer HP. You could send the fencing school would be really good. Train your infantry faster. If you're relying on your barracks to keep you alive, yeah, get the infantry out faster. That would be a good card to send. Possibly extensive fortifications might be useful as well. You'll build some outposts to help just keep yourself alive while you get into the third age. But here, Greenstone in the third age. And look at that. Hey, all right, he's picking fencing school. I think Evelynn's picking fencing school. Right call there. And then Glorious Revolution. That should be interesting. Possibly, if I'm remembering right, Glorious Revolution allows you to turn your longbows into rangers. So we may see some ranger play. But in the third age, Greenstone getting out crossbowman. He just picked up the veteran crossbowman upgrade. This is a great choice if you know your opponent is going all in infantry. Crossbows are a very good choice. Now the scary thing is if, and we see a stable coming up, if Evelynn goes Hussar, a cluster of Hussar can absolutely wipe the floor with crossbowmen. And this is before the recent change in the most recent patch where light infantry now do even less damage against cavalry. So even before that change, yeah, and we see this is the right play from Evelynn. Hussar will smack crossbowmen. You need some musketeer or pikemen or something to be ready to deal with Hussar. And as I say that, the French player going up to the fourth age while the English are still in the second age. Unbelievable. Military on the field and a huge tech advantage coming. Note, by the way, how, as this battle is taking place, these crossbows are about to get obliterated. They're doing great against the musketeer and the longbows, but the Hussar will wipe the floor with them. Yeah. That's just a moment of silence here for the veteran crossbows, who, again, they're being snared, so they cannot escape quickly. He lets them go. Evelynn lets them go. Evelynn, why? Evelynn, I'm really surprised by that. Greenstone has nothing keeping these crossbows alive. I think that was a mistake. Evelynn should have stayed on the crossbows with the Hussar. She had an advantage there, but now Musketeer are out. The Musketeers can cover for the crossbows' weaknesses. We see Vils moving forward. What on earth is happening here? Is this just hunt? Is that what we're doing? That has to be what, yeah, we're just gathering hunt and trying to lure that hunt back to the French side of the base. Okay, and here we go. Battle is about to be waged, and this time the Hussar will not have so easy of an attack on the French because Musketeer are here. They do bonus damage, especially with their hand attack against cavalry. So it's going to be hard for the Hussar. Oh, but look at this. The Hussar move in. They're going to knock out the cannons, and that is huge for the British. Meanwhile, longbowmen are chipping away at the Musketeer. The crossbows are stuck firing on the Hussar, which is really not that great of a situation for them to be in. You want the Musketeer on the Hussar and the crossbows on the Musketeer and the longbow. That's not happening here. And the British actually win this fight. I did not expect that coming in, but the Hussar were able to knock out the Falconets really early before they could get any real damage in. And so we find ourselves in a really interesting situation. The English have more military units on the field right now. And they have a better economy. They have 48 Vils to the French's 33. But the French are in the fourth age, and the English are still in the second age. We pull up the deck, we see that the factory card has already been shipped for the French. Here it is coming online right now. And so yes, the English do have a 15 Vil lead, But don't underestimate just how powerful that factory can be. That is 5.5 coin per second versus 0.66 coin per second for a single gold settler. Now, I'm going to let you do the math, but 10 English settlers would be 6.6 coin per second. So that's almost, what is that? Like, it's got to be around 8, 9 vills for a factory there. So that's huge. Having a factory up when you have a factory and your opponent does not, that's a really nice situation to be in. This game is fascinating. England shipping the advanced arsenal upgrade, which let me see. Now, one of the things I will be looking at is does Evelynn actually build an arsenal? Because I know I've made this mistake several times. I'll ship the advanced arsenal card and then forget to ever actually build the arsenal and take advantage of that. So if an arsenal doesn't go up, that is a waste of a card. We'll have to see. Siege archery coming in. Gives your longbows a lot of bonus siege damage. I think I'd rather do yeoman. Inflicting more damage to heavy infantry and getting more range. You've got to be able to win the battle before you can start sieging the buildings, right? So being able to kill units faster is a priority. I also got to give a hat tip to Evelynn for not losing villagers there in that fight. I was worried that the French were going to come in and they would see those vills and get a bunch of bonus damage in. But that's not happening. Longbowman up. Hussar up. We got Longbowman and Hussar versus... What do we have? Crossbows. Skirmishers. I like skirmishers. Yeah, that's a great choice. And falconets. What I don't like, you have no anti-cavalry option in your army here. I am worried. This could be devastating. This could be absolutely devastating for the French. This is a bad engage. These Hussar will wipe the floor with crossbows and skirmishers and falconets. They counter all of it. Against the longbows, yeah, this is a great army, but you needed musketeers. Trade post goes down. All of these units will go down. Yeah, this is a tough situation to be in. More crossbows. You're sending in more. You're sending in good crossbows after bad here. Now, to be fair, from a pure numbers point of view, the Hussar are taking damage. They are going down, but not fast enough. Not fast enough. You have got to hide all of this artillery. Do not lose your heavy cannon. Do not lose your falconets here. Your field guns now. You need to have either musketeer or dragoons. The French get access to the... I think they have very good dragoon, if I'm not mistaken. They get a bunch of bonus stats for their dragoons, especially if they have the cards for it. Now, I don't know if they do. Yeah, ranged attack. Well, that's ranged attack infantry, so that doesn't work for dragoons. Musketeer, then, is probably your choice. You throw this down. Your musketeer do bonus damage. That would be good. Get down your second factory. Keep the eco going. But meanwhile, while your eco is going, and you've got a great eco. Yeah, more musketeers. A lot more musketeer. Meanwhile, Evelynn now in the third age, picking up some important cards. We see the Team Musketeer HP card coming in. More Hussar. Do we have any bonuses to Hussar? We do not. So one thing that's sort of a saving grace for Evelynn here is the power unit that Evelynn is relying on is a unit that she has no cards in the deck for. Veteran Hussars up. Now, Greenstone has 18 Musketeer and an awful lot of cannon. I think at this point, it'd be even better if there was a ball of skirmishers to help out. But I think the Musketeer can deal with the cavalry, and then if the cannons are allowed to get into range, the longbows will be in for a painful time. We have the second factory card coming in for the French. I wonder if we'll see a revolution. That would be cool to see. Now these Hussar. If I were the Musketeer, I would set the Musketeer on melee mode. Get them to absolutely fire. And cannons. Cannons. Just knock out those longbows. Focus fire the longbowmen. I think the cannons are firing on the cav. Yeah, I understand why you want to do that. That is a mistake. Let the Musketeer deal with the cannon, the Hussar. Put your cannons on these longbows. Yeah, and now here we go. Evelynn forced to retreat. That was a pretty big fight, and Evelynn has actually, or had, taken a score lead. It is now neck and neck. Evelynn still has a score lead, but just barely. Nope, Greenstone just took it. This is pretty huge. Where is the second? There's that factory wagon. Don't forget the factory wagon. More Musketeer, that's right. Yes, keep going Musketeer. Okay, good, good. It's an interesting play going all in longbowman like this, and it's great if your enemy goes heavy to Musketeer. Longbows are going to do a great job against Musketeer, especially with the Yeoman upgrade. Once you get this one down, longbows will do even better against Musketeer, but now you got to worry about the cannons, and for the cannons, we need Hussar. So it's kind of a dance on who can micro their units better. Can the Hussar get in and knock out the cannons first, or can the Musketeer take out the Hussar, leaving the cannons to absolutely whittle away the longbows? Now this has the Tower of London here. It's a funny name for a fort. The Tower of London has a range of 26. Heavy cannons have a range of 28. Field guns have a range of 26. So you could, with the heavy cannons, start attacking the fort, and the fort can't fire back. So you could start putting pressure on that fort with the cannons, and then bait the army into attacking you, sending the Hussar in and letting the Musketeer do their job. That would be a good option. Wow. Now, let's take a look at the eco. We've got to make note of the eco. 77 vills for the British. 35 vills for the French. Fortunately, these factories are up. That evens out the numbers a lot. If we take a look... Well, first, let's watch this fight. Infantry getting shredded by the cannons. Now, Musketeer on the cav. Longbows on Musketeer. They're doing their job right. No, wait, is that... No, the longbowmen are firing on the cannons. That is a mistake. Hussar are down, and that means everything is on the longbowmen. Oh, these guys are going to go down hard. Yeah, that hurts. So right now we've got 5 longbowmen, a couple of grenadier. Grenadier are nice, but... Yeah, at this point, Greenstone may have enough to besiege this fort. Possibly. But I think it would be safer to just sit back and let the heavy cannons just fire away at it from a distance and keep building up your army numbers. This castle, this fort, will not stay up for long. I asked earlier if we were going to see a revolution. Not if France only has 36 vills. And there's 1,800 food in the bank. Yeah, I got more vills. This is a hard spot to be in. Now, I believe, other than the heavy cannon, which is coming from the factory, Other than the heavy cannon, I think everything that Greenstone has is an age 3 tech level unit. So they're fighting at parity right now, even though Evelynn is a tech level behind.
Commandment.
Veteran Hussar are up. Longbowmen are up. What has to happen? You've got to somehow separate out the... Oh, wait a minute. These are skirms. Wait. These are all skirms. There are no musketeer here. Go all in on Hussar, and the Hussar will melt through everything here like butter. Yeah, more skirms. I think that Greenstone is correctly predicting that Evelynn just wants to stay on longbows. Longbows are the power unit that Evelynn has. Evelynn wants to stay on them.
Yes.
But we need more Hussar. Okay, here we go. This 10 might be enough. 10 may be enough Hussar. The fight kicks off. Get in there, get on the cannons first. Good. Wipe out those cannons. And once the cannons are down, it's light infantry versus light infantry. Yep.
Ready.
Oh, that is a good fight for Evelynn. Yeah, Evelynn needed this. Evelynn absolutely needed this. The lone skirmisher. Resilient. Steadfast. Doomed, but honorable. More Hussar. Yes, absolutely go more Hussar. Punish Greenstone for failing to have Musketeer, anti-cav, to back that up. And now Musketeer, Greenstone is going to course correct, getting 20 Guard Musketeer out. These are Guard Musketeer. That's really nice. I would love to see some cavalry from the French. I think Dragoons would be really nice. Although I guess Musketeer... Let's think about this. Musketeer and heavy cannons. Alright, so the Musketeer handle any kind of cavalry. Dragoons, Hussar, the Musketeer can handle them. If you have enough numbers. Uh-oh. 11 Musketeer. Can 11 Musketeer push back against all of those Hussar? They are guard level. Let's find out. The cannons have to stay alive in order to deal with the longbowmen. The cannon will not stay alive. One of the factories is on coin. The other one is producing heavy cannon. You need to... Oh, wait. These are skirmishers. Okay, you got skirmishers out on the field, which is good. The skirmishers are light infantry, and they will go even with the longbowmen. But I think you need to pull back. Pull back, consolidate. You need to ship the heavy cannon card right now. Or get out some Hussar of your own. Hussar would be an amazing choice against longbowmen, as we have seen when the British Hussar knocked out the skirmishers. Oh my goodness, more coming in. We've got more longbows, more Hussar. This is... What a battle. What a battle. And we have Dragoons coming in. I think that's a mistake. The longbowmen counter Dragoons. Light infantry defeat light cavalry. And we do have, remember, with the English, the yeoman card was sent, as well as the siege archery. So the longbows are going to be doing a lot of siege damage here. Greenstone is really stuck here because, you know, the production buildings are kind of stuck. You know, all right, he's got out 5 musketeer, 5 militiamen. What are they going to do against 50 longbowmen? You need to be able to build up your numbers kind of behind the lines, and you don't have any barracks back here. It'd be nice with, you know, a lot of wood in the bank. build some barracks or some stables kind of in the back line, maybe to help out with production. Both players floating some resources at this point. I'm surprised Evelynn's not going up to the 4th age. Here we go. Greenstone has only one town center. At this point, yeah, look at this. Ouch. 5 pikemen. Pikemen will not stop longbows. This feels like a very desperate, very, very desperate play. I didn't even see the dragoons. Did the dragoons even come out? I think they just got melted. Yeah, here are the pikemen. Watch how quickly these guys go down. All right, the heavy cannon has got to open fire on the longbows. Ugh. And with that, Greenstone calls the GG. And that is our first quarterfinal series. What a nail biter. What an absolute back and forth. I could not have wished for a better third game between Greenstone and Evelynn. Two, I dare say, equally matched players. I think they both did very well. Back and forth. I mean, at one point I was certain Evelynn was going to win, and then I thought Greenstone was going to win, and then Evelynn was able to pull it back. I ultimately think Greenstone had a great strategy, but left himself that vulnerability for the Hussar to come in and absolutely wipe out armies that otherwise would have been very strong. Like if we had earlier, I think there were on 2 separate occasions, Greenstone starts pushing in with crossbows and cannons or skirmishers and cannons, and if you had mixed in 5 musketeer, then they probably stand. I won't say that, maybe they end the game. Maybe they do some real damage to the English. But because there were no musketeer or there were no dragoons, there was nothing that was anti-cavalry. The Hussar were able to come in and absolutely melt the cannons, and then that left the skirmishers open to just get obliterated right here in the center. And I think ultimately that proved Greenstone's downfall. Maybe, if anything else, right now, there's 2,700 wood floating in the bank, and I think you can do a lot with that wood. You can go to your market and you can sell it. You can buy food to get more units out. You could also put out more barracks, put out more stables. Build more resource buildings. Build a church that will get you more XP so you could ship more cards faster. That's a mistake that I suppose Evelynn is also making, but in Evelynn's case, it appears to be a little bit more balanced, and yeah, I'd say for both players, that's probably something to keep in mind. But I'll tell you what, wow, what a match, what a game, and I think that shows you where we're heading in the Noob Cup. The skills are improving, the games are getting tougher, and I cannot wait to see the rest of the quarterfinals, the semis, and the final. This is going to be an amazing tournament, guys. I hope you enjoyed this. If you did, like the video, subscribe to the channel. We enjoy having you. For now, this is the Iron Kaiser signing off. Have a great one.